Over here. But is this anybody's first night here at Sick Puppies Comedy? Yeah. Welcome, virgins. Welcome, virgins. You've picked a great night to come because normally we don't slaughter the virgins till Sunday afternoon. So very good. You're gonna have a good time. Sick Puppies is a great place. It's a combination, sort of adult hangout and educational institution. I've taken improv here and stand-up comedy, and new improv classes for adults start next month. And so if anybody, you see somebody up here and you go, gee, I could do that, or boy, could I do that, then let us know, and we'd love to have you take some of our classes. So we've got a really great lineup tonight. We have great comedians. All different topics, all different kinds of folks. You're gonna really enjoy it. So Casey, the guy that runs Sick Puppies, he asked me to host tonight, and he said, Kathy, I want you to host, but I have a special request. He said, you've got to warm up the audience and get them ready for a good night, and don't tell any dirty jokes. And I said, oh, great, why don't you just, tie my hands behind my back and put duct tape on my mouth. No, that's just fun. So I went through my joke list. I have all my jokes on little index cards here. And I went through them so I could, figure out which ones I could tell, which ones I couldn't. And so I'm so unused to telling clean jokes, most of them are in these little cards. But these are some of the ones I picked out for tonight. So we'll go through them real quickly. Let's see, how are hookers and Passover food the same? No? There once was a girl named Dolores. Bill Cosby, Jared from Subway, and the Duggar Kid go to a Girl Scout camp. So these are all that's left. I just have a couple of things, but one of the big things now, everybody's always talking about how they're a foodie. Everybody's a foodie. We're all foodies. You can't live without it. So how can you not be one, right? So I don't cook very much anymore. And it's just really hard for me to incorporate all these new things. I want to be paleo, vegan, gluten-free. But I'm having a hard time working that into my regular diet of bologna sandwiches and Twizzlers. So, and I don't even understand this gluten-free stuff. I mean, really. Gluten is the good part of bread. Right? When you take the gluten out, you're putting bologna between two pieces of Elmer's glue. Right? It's not fun. And, not for nothing, but gluten-free anything just has that sort of not fun, I want to roll, kind of taste to it. The other thing I don't understand about all this food business is molecular gastronomy. You know what that is? That's what all the guys on Chopped that lose do. They go on Chopped, and instead of just making a perfectly good pork chop, they take a pumpkin and they put it in some frozen nitrogen, and then they use a glass blower, and it comes out looking like caviar eggs. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. If I wanted to ingest white powdered food, I'd have become a cocaine addict. And when it comes to food, I'm not a big fan of a lot of exotic kind of restaurants they have today. Because my operating theory about that is that if your country gets its primary food source from 50-pound sacks from the UN, I'm not really big on eating your cuisine, okay? So, I have lots of pet peeves. cranky, cranky Southern Floridian old lady. So I have lots of pet peeves. And one of them is driving. Because boy, the driving here is really amazing, isn't it? You cut people off, you go 80 miles an hour, you make left-hand turns from the right-hand lane. People are screaming, you've got your finger out the window. It's really, I'm so busy, I hardly have time to put on my makeup. So the other thing that really annoys me, and this is my biggest pet peeve, is online dating. Anybody online dating? Oh, I can be okay. I mean, it might be fun when you're in your 20s, and you don't want to meet guys in bars and stuff, At my age, my choices, I could either meet them online or at a funeral. And sometimes they're the guest of honor, you know what I mean? And I'm not the kind that's going to go stalking some poor widower with a brisket in my hand going, hi, busy later? Yeah, I just died. Okay. So it's kind of not my style. So I've had a couple of experiences, and I've been able to really look at a picture, look at the profile, 2 seconds. As they say, as you young kids say, swipe left. So the first one I get all the time. I don't know why. I don't know what about my profile makes these people send me letters, and the site I'm on, you're not allowed to send naked pictures, but can you imagine? Like, it's bad enough that I have to have a picture of a man holding a fish. But a picture of a 65-year-old man and his dead fish is more than I can handle. So the first one is, half of them, they all have a fish. They're holding a fish. That's just the picture they decided would best represent them to the woman they want to spend the rest of their life with. And I'm thinking, what kind of woman are you looking for? You want someone who doesn't go anywhere with you? Or won't talk to you a lot? Because these are things I would be doing if I were married to someone who fished. I mean, do you want someone who's comfortable putting her hand up the fish guts? And really, there is nothing in my profile that talks about fish guts. There could be mentions of other things and things I enjoy, but not fish guts. So I don't know why they keep writing to me, but they all seem to think, I guess maybe it's when they're 70, they think I'm like really adorable. I'm like an 8 to be 70-year-old. Hey, take what you can get. The second kind of guy, this guy's like more normal, but he's still got a lot of issues. This is the retired insurance salesman who's posed on his Harley. Okay? So basically, he was just looking for a place where other bald guys would hang out. He didn't want to feel bad about being bald, so he buys this $30,000 Harley. And my feeling about that kind of show of, having this kind of huge machine that you own that costs a lot of money is that you spent $30,000 on that Harley, and now you can't afford your Viagra prescription. And the third one is the nice guy. And there are a lot of them. They're really nice guys who usually have on a plaid shirt. I'll show you the picture. And then there's a series of pictures of them on a cruise with their mother and stuff like that. And their profiles say things like, I love to stay home and snuggle on the couch and watch movies. And I read, I am broke, and I'm never taking you anywhere. I want a girl who's as comfortable in blue jeans as she is in an evening gown. And I read, don't buy the evening gown, I have no money, we're not going anywhere. So sometimes I've gone out with them, and they're all right, They've been okay. They have a great picture, and they meet my test. And I said, listen, I have my priorities, I have my limits. Nobody on parole. Hey, if you served your time, I'm right there. Nobody on parole. No tattoos that are visible above the neck. All your children have to be, you know, over 30 and not dependent. So I have to tell you, I did agree to meet this guy, and the reason I agreed to meet him a while ago was because he had a picture, you know. And now the big thing is to go to a studio and have your portrait taken, so that it really displays who you really are in the best light, you know, instead of some snapshot where the Eiffel Tower is coming out of the top of your head, you know. And I want to meet the man that took this guy's picture, all right? Because this is the Walt Disney of photographers. This guy looks so good in this picture. He was a musician, so he had this really funky thing on. It was for the back of an album cover. So we decide to meet, and he lives in Miami, so which is a GU. You know what a GU is? It's a geographic undesirable. But I said, okay, you know, I was just starting a date. I said, well, that's okay. So we decided to meet in Plantation. So we get to the bookstore, I get there first, and I see this guy come in. How do I even describe my emotion at seeing him when he walked in the door? He made Woody Allen look like The Rock. He had on pants that had the elastic waist in the back from the boys' department. Okay, and this was a little man. And he did not look that little in the picture. You know, they had taken some kind of weird Orson Welles, you know, from the ground up shot. You know, I don't understand how they did that, but it was pretty incredible. And wouldn't you know it, he forgot his wallet. So I said.
So did you.
So being the really wonderful person I am, I said, hey, no problem, we're just getting coffee, right? And at this point, I just want to leave, but I can't figure out how to say, this just isn't working. So I buy a small, right? I get the smallest cup of plain coffee, because I figure if it's not that hot, I can down it in, I think, in maybe 5-6 minutes and we're out of here. So Mr. I Forgot My Wallet orders a venti mocha frappuccino, whatever he had, and a donut or something. It cost me $8.50 for some little dwarf to eat on the phone. I was furious. So we sit there, and then he proceeds to tell me about how he has a lot of money, but he's not going to let any woman take it from him. Really, this is your opening line? So I got out of there as quickly as possible, and I said, you know, this is just really, really bad. So then a couple of weeks later, I'm at a very classy restaurant here in Boca, and meet this guy at the bar, very good-looking guy, white, and, you know, had a lot to say, mostly about himself, but, you know, really interesting, and was interested, had a great conversation. And I said, so are you divorced? And he said, oh, I'm separated. And you know, that's not my favorite thing because technically they're still married. But you know, he was really nice and he asked me out and I said, oh, okay, that's great. We had a really wonderful weekend. Then I found out that separated meant he came down here to play golf and his wife was in Boston. So that's how separated they were. So I've given up on the dating for the time being, and that's, you know, kind of where I am. But I will have another story for you later in the evening. And I want to get started with our comics tonight. And first up, this is really interesting. This is so nice. So we're doing this in height order. So our first up comic is Dana Lipson. And so let's all give her a big welcome and start up there.
How's everyone doing? Woo! Yeah. So
marzu. No? No? Well, let me explain. It is a Sardinian cheese that has live maggots in it. And it is gross. But they love it there. It is a delicacy. And don't get me wrong though, I love cheese. I love cheese. It is delicious. But they have taken something so pure, so delicious, and ruined it by putting live maggots in it. Why? Why would they do it? That makes no sense. That's like someone putting bowling balls in my nachos. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. If someone came up and put bowling balls in my nachos, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. I would hate it. Another thing that I really I hate is when you're at a party and you're saying goodbye to somebody and they also happen to be leaving. You just can't get away from them. Or you say goodbye to them, and later on, you just keep running into them. You can't escape them. You can't. And I find it so uncomfortable. I don't know what to say to them when I run into them. And this happened to me on a flight to Chicago with my English teacher. And she is my everyday English teacher. She teaches me English every single day. And I acted like I had no idea who this woman was when she came up to me and was like, Dana Lipson, right? For my fourth period English class. Ma'am, you are mistaken. My name is Rick. I am a farmer. But it's actually a good thing that I was there on the flight on time, because my family, they are always late. My mom, she always has to park in the very first parking spot. She will wait however long it takes to park in that very first parking spot. And my grandma, she has to wear a sweater. She always has to look for it. It's never just accessible. She always has to spend lots of time looking for her sweater. No matter what, we could be going to the Swiss Alps for skiing or Bora Bora for surfing. Granny needs a sweater. But now that I drive and I have a car, I'm going to make sure that I am not late. I'm going to take precautionary measures to make sure that I am not late, and here's how. In my trunk, at all times, 50 sweaters, different shapes, colors, and sizes, so that I will never have to look for another sweater again. And instead of waiting for that very first parking spot so I don't have to walk that extra 15 feet, I will just take an Uber. But speaking about my mom, I have a mom. And she's very sweet. She's a social worker. She can never say no. But she attracts a certain type of person, no matter where we go in public, but especially supermarkets. She attracts old people, very old people. Old people love my mom. She is a magnet for old people. Yeah, she's a magnet for old people. Sorry. And some people they attract little kids or attractive men. She attracts old people. But I live here in Boca Raton, which is old people central. That's like if the United States was a town, Boca Raton would be the nursing home where all old people were kept. But that leads me to think, do old people retire and move to Boca because my mom is here? But yeah, when we're at supermarkets, they swarm us, old people, they swarm us. It's almost zombie apocalyptic like. That I just have to walk away. I have to walk away. And that it leaves me wondering, what is it about my mom that they love so much? What attracts them to her? And does she smell like mothballs? Does she look like she knows a lot about World War II? It also leaves me wondering, what do they want with my mom? Especially in supermarkets, what do they want? Probably, I guess maybe help walk into their car, or getting something off a shelf, or checking the expiration date on a prune juice. But it happens so often that it leaves me wondering, is it the same old people just coming up to my mom every single time pulling some sort of elaborate old person prank on her? Because let's be honest, all old people kind of look alike. And that leads me to think, what else are old people doing? Who else are they pranking? Are they putting whoopee cushions in other old people's wheelchairs? Are they taking the Oreo icing out of Oreos and putting denture cream and giving it to their grandchildren? Or are they going around putting bowling balls in nachos? Thank you, thank you.
We have a Sick Puppies comedy virgin. First time appearing at Sick Puppies. He's like me. He's got a straight job during the day, so we try to keep this on the DL. So we don't use our last names here. It's like you know, the witness protection program for comedy. But coming up now, first time here, give him a big welcome, Tim K.
People. I had a shitty week, so I hope to share that with you. So I don't know about straight. We'll figure that one out. But I am an elementary school teacher, and I've been teaching for 13 years, and that's 13 years too many. They say teaching is a calling from God. God had the wrong number on this one. You know. Back in those days, they didn't have caller ID. Now, if I'd gotten the call, I would have been screening that shit. Anything but a teacher. Go to voicemail. Tim who? Fuck you. I mean, teaching wouldn't be so bad if you could say what's really on your mind. Good morning, class. You precious children, have a seat. And shut the fuck up. Where's your homework? No, I mean, I don't mind teaching, except for when it comes to science, I'm kind of an idiot. So the kids will ask me these questions, and I'm like, fuck if I know. So why don't you go over there, do some research. Meanwhile, I'll be over here Googling under the desk. 1 second, damn budget cut, school board's got us back on dial-up. I do have favorites, the smart kids, because they have the answers when I don't. So there's Garrett back there. Go ahead, Garrett, give us the answer. Meanwhile, I got my steno pad jotting down the answer right along with everybody else. Could you say that again, only this time could you spell Uranus? Once in a while, I'll actually get one right. Oh yeah. And then I'm all like, who's smarter than a 5th grader now, bitches? What? No homework. The worst is I have to teach sex ed. I mean, I don't think I'm overly qualified. I don't know which hole to tell them to stick it in. Whatever feels good, buddy. No judgments here. For sure. You may not get a baby out of the deal, but hey, at least we don't teach abstinence. Take that one home to mama. I don't know. So the other thing about teaching is I can always pick out the gay kids. Here's Jimmy. His favorite color's pink. Here's Hannah. She's sporting a Home Depot lunch pail. Different Hannah. Don't mess with Hannah unless you need your oil changed. And then you got Michael, who's always yelling, "It's Michelle, bitch." So the real reason I can pick out the gay kids is because I'm gay. Shocking, I know. Close your mouths, it's okay. I mean, you people probably figured it out in the first 5 seconds. Not my parents. It was a little awkward growing up. I mean, they made me play Lily for 7 years. I hated every second of it. I mean, clue number one, when I was praying for rain every single game, they'd be like, Timmy, it's time for baseball. Meanwhile, I'd rather be taking a bubble bath reading a Danielle Steele novel. Of course, the only way they could get me to go to the baseball game was they would bribe me with a hot dog. I mean, after the game, nothing says all-American pastime like a 9-inch wiener. I mean, do I lie? Oh my God. I mean, really, I actually have to sit them down and say, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. I'm like, my closet had sheer curtains. You can see right through it. Every Christmas, I'd ask them for an easy bake oven. Never got one. Now I'm 34 years old, I can't cook, and I blame them. Of course, had I known all it was a light bulb, of course I wasn't a very bright kid, I would have been standing under the chandelier with a fucking Pop-Tart. 5 hours later, Stuart can suck this. They'd walk in and I'd be sitting on the couch watching Oprah eating devil dogs and ding-dongs. If that wasn't a sign of times to come, I don't know what was. Anyway, I love you people, thank you so much.
Whether from Rio or from Boca. Let's hear it for our next comedian, Jana!
Hello. What a beautiful crowd we got here tonight. Am I doing it right? I didn't get the memo. I had no idea that we couldn't be like really dirty. They told Kathy, this is my whole set. That's pretty gross. But I'm gonna start off light. So, dating's been hard for me, guys. I'm like 40 pounds overweight, and I'm not doing this for pity, it's just numbers. If there's a chart at the doctor's office, I'm off the scales, and it's not good. This one, and I'm insecure, and so the guys that I'm attracting aren't the guys that I'm into. And the guys that I'm into are like, no, I don't like you. And the guys that do like me, I'm like, ew, chubby chaser. So gross. It's bad. Like, I'm not into guys that have fetishes. It's not my thing. Like, if you want to love my feet, do it from afar. Appreciate them, but don't like put your tongue on them. That's disgusting. Some fetishes are cool, others aren't. It's a fine line. And I was dating this one guy, and we had been dating already for, 6 months. It was a while. We were already comfortable with each other. And he decided, let's tell each other our desires, like things that we really be interested. I'm getting red just thinking about what I'm about to tell you guys. Let's tell each other what we're into. So he's like, all right, well, I'm kind of interested in this. And I'm like, that's different, but okay. And I would tell him something that I was interested in. He was like, okay, that's weird. And then I was like getting all red and hot. It's happening right now, but I couldn't believe that I was going to tell him what I'm telling you guys right now. I can't even look up right now what's going to come out of my mouth. But if you're going to be with somebody for the rest of your life, potentially, then you're going to want to just do whatever it is that you're going to want to do, right? You're not going to want to live half a life. Look at Caitlin, poor thing, she fucking suffered. And I'm not going to suffer like that. So I was like, okay, before I even tell you what it is, I'm going to tell you a little bit more. Now, it's sexual, it's real sexual, and I'm 35, so this is something that I experienced already late in my life. I was 27 when this happened to me. And what happened? I'm like, whoa, I was feeling crazy stuff, and when I looked down, I was like, what? And it was just a long look, and I was like, oh, and I never felt like that. I felt that day after that, I was like, I am alone. And this is what life is about. Like, I want more of that, but let's not talk about that anytime soon because I was in shock. of what had just happened. So I turned to him and I was like, I kind of like, my hand's shaking. Fisting. Hey, don't judge me, okay? Like, hey, if you know what the fuck it is to have your legs shaking, eyes rolling in the back of your head, like, you're practically foaming out of the mouth, but it's heaven. It's amazing. And he's just like, ew, gross. And that fucking hurt, dude. That fucking hurt. No, stop, guys, look. Fisting. Ew, gross. Like, with a face, ew, gross. So, okay, this coming from a guy that likes it when I have 2 fingers up his asshole while I'm chewing his horn, right? Ew, I deserve that. That's what I deserve. And so, I stayed with him for like another month. Because I live in Century Village with my mom. So I know what that's like. And when you're dating a guy who's got a house that's paid off for and Broken Sound, if anybody from Boca knows, it's like heaven. Just taking a shower in there, like there was a sauna in there. There was a whole different mode, seats on both sides of that shower. I had my entire own sink. It was my sink in the bathroom. There's a bathroom. There's inside of the bathroom, there's a door with a toilet. So you don't even have to see that the toilet's in there. It's fancy. So I put up with that shit for another month. It was a lot of work. You guys are not like realizing it. Okay. So one of the problems that I have when it comes to dating guys is that I'm way too nice. And it's not like I eat shit for guys. Well, other than that one guy. Other than one guy. But I'm nice. I'm not gonna let something bother me that's tiny and just let it grow into something that's huge and didn't need to be. But I'm way too nice and guys don't like that. Guys like bitches. Oh, that's so corny, it's cliche, everybody's heard it, it's fucking true. Guys like bitches. So this one time, I went to a mall with this girlfriend of mine. It was like a Saturday, early in the morning, the mall had just opened, it was empty. And she has to do something at the ATM. And we're like in this corner of the ATM, and she's doing her entire accounting for the month. She's checking out her statements, doing transfers, like we were there for 20 minutes. And so 10 minutes in, I hear something coming down the hallway, and what is that? So I like peek around the corner, and I see, now mind you, I'm not PC. I don't know how to be PC. I don't know how to be nice about this. Like, I'm ignorant. And there's this guy in a wheelchair that all he can move is his hand. He's got like one of those things that are holding up his neck. He's got like water coming out of his eyes, all glossy, can't really control his mouth. It was bad. He's coming down the hall, and I'm like, oh, check him out by himself. Chilling in the mall. So, I keep hearing this thing come closer, and I keep poking my head out, and he's like, coming in our direction, and coming. And it gets to a point that it's like, he's definitely coming in our direction. I'm like, Amy, this guy's coming our way. And she's like, oh, stop eating shit, because I usually eat a lot of shit. But I'm like, no, this guy's getting closer, and it's getting louder, and he's like, behind us, here. And I'm like, oh, he's here. I'm not kidding, he's here. So I turn around, I'm peeking, and he's got this piece of paper in his hand. And I grab it, and she's not turning around, she's not even acknowledging this guy. I grab this paper out of his hand, and I start to read this paper. And it says, and come on, like, how am I gonna make some shit like this up? It says, oh, my name is Jose, I'm 23, I've never been with a woman before. I'm with you because I think that you're interesting and I'd like to learn what it's like to be with a woman. So I was like, looking around, seeing if anybody's peeking their heads, and no, it was real. So I'm like, oh shit, Amy, he likes somebody here. Is it her? I'm not trying to be an asshole, this is what he was doing. And I was like, me? Me? Nothing. I'm like, Amy, he likes you. Sit in his lap. Oh, you're so gross. The guy's here. At this point, we're both like looking at him. The guy's right here. I'm like, oh my god, just sit in his lap or something. He likes you. You're disgusting. I'm like, I can't even leave. So we literally like climb over this guy. But we had Amy, that's terrible. Like, you didn't even look at him in the face. And she's like, oh, shut up. Like, he's coming after us. So I'm like, dude, this, run. And we ran. We just booked it too long. We got away from him. But you see what I'm saying? I'm too nice. That motherfucker, she's not even looking at his face. I'm like, her? Me? I'm the only one talking to you. She would have never gotten that paper out of your hand. She would have ran from you a long time ago. I talked to you. I read your paper. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at her. You're ignoring me. Fine. That's cool. I would have sat in his lap. I'm stupid like that. I would have done it. Why not? Who's ever done something like that? Fuck it. Well, I guess I'll just leave it at that since they're like flagging me down. And the next thing that I was going to say was pretty personal. I'll save that for next time.
Nobody judges you.
Personal!
Donna. So this is the really awkward part where I have to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Kathy G. We've met. There are kids in the audience. I just have to, cover your ears. But what I wanted to do tonight was just take a couple of minutes and talk to you about my life in the sex trade. And so it all started a couple of years ago when I went to the porn store down here, the big warehouse, with a couple of my girlfriends, and wanted to go because I needed a bob. You know what a bob is? A bob is a battery-operated boyfriend. And so we go to the warehouse, and I needed the bob because my husband died. So there were a whole bunch of us, and we all go in the porn store together, and I really thought that it was going to be, gross and disgusting, and really a disgusting, horrible place to be, and it was. But what was so amazing about it was the marketing. I thought everything would be like, in cardboard packaging with nothing written on it, but like sexy thing. But it wasn't. Every porn star had their own line of stuff. So there's like the Janet Jameson clips and nip clips. I couldn't even figure out what this stuff was. So the way the place works is we were going through the, we're shopping. We're going through the racks and pick up what we want. Comes time to check out, you go to the front, and there's an elevated platform, and behind that is the registered sex offender next to the cash register who checks you out before you leave. And this is a little known fact about porn warehouses, is that, big surprise, no returns. I mean, really, okay? So, because there are no returns, they open everything you buy and they put the batteries in it to make sure it works before you take it home. So now, this perv is holding on to my bob and he puts the batteries in and you can hear it all over. There's like, it was the most humiliating thing. So you pay, you put your jacket on over your head and leave, right? So I get home, and my girlfriend's there, and, I won't say she's had more experience, but she's kinky. So she said, well, show me what you bought. So she goes through, and she meets Bob, and there were a couple other things there. And then she picks up, and she goes, what is this? I said, oh, it was so cool. They had a home goods department at the porn store, and I bought this black powder doorstop. It's not a doorstop. What is it? Is it what? What do you do with it? Oh. You put it where? Oh. to a fuckerware party. You know what fuckerware is? Fuckerware is where women get together in someone's house and they drink margaritas and buy sex toys. It's a lot of fun. And we go to this party and there's like 50 women and we're all drunk. And the woman comes in and she's got all her wares set up. She's got the creams and the lotions and the loves and the big bobs. You know, she's got everything up there. And then she begins her presentation. This is the account going up at $79.95. This is Ice Baby Ice. That's how 40B, the $69.95. I'm thinking, I've heard better presentations at a CPA convention. What is wrong with this woman? So that was a total bummer. So we left. Well, time passes and I lost my straight job. And I needed to do something. So I became a fuckerware lady. But let me tell you, I knew how to throw a fuckerware party. Okay? First thing is, I got a mixtape of Barry White, Blue Balls, and Al Green. I put that in when the ladies were coming in, get everybody in the mood. I put extra tequila in the margarita mix. So by the time they were ready to buy, I had them all hyped up and drunk, which is exactly how you want it. And it never failed. At every single one of these that I did, there were two things that always happened. One was, there was a whole section on pages 26 through 29 of the catalog that I had no idea how they worked. Okay? Now, luckily, my kinky girlfriend used to come with me because she knew every appliance and adaptability thing that they made. And we were in awe of her. We had a life-size, well, it depends on your life, doesn't it? Life-size model. And she would demonstrate like a cock ring. And she would go, this ring goes over here, and everything's, and then this ring goes, oh, the testicle. It's like, wow, that's really fascinating on tape 4. So I love that because she made lots of money. But the way these parties work is that after everybody's really drunk and they've seen all the stuff, you send them over to go eat and drink more, and then each person comes individually to meet with the fuckerware lady in a separate room so that nobody knows what you bought. Of course, until you buy it. So, never fails. Every time there was like always one little skinny, kind of mousy looking girl, and she would sit down and she'd say, I'd like 4 rectal beads, 2 that glow in the dark, the tube of nympho Niagara, and the tiny up cuffs. Like, what goes on in your house? It's like, you're next to me in the Publix checkout line. This is like kinky stuff. But hey, you know, her visa was good, so look at me. So, you know, I did that for a while, and then I got a real job, so I put all this stuff away, and now I have some inventory left over, and I find that, you know, I use them as hostess gifts at dinner parties. You know, I find that there's no better conversation starter than a tube of nympho Niagara. You know, that just gets things really going. And then I come home after the party's over, and I might have some things left, and I move my door stopper away from the closet door, and I put all my things away, and then Bob and the door stopper and I go to bed. Thanks. Hey everybody, hi, I'm Kathy G. Hey, it's good to see you. Yeah. Hey, first time for anybody knows. I feel like I have like multiple personality disorder. Well, that's been said before. Next up, great comedian, you're gonna love him, Eddie Sage.
Hey. How are you? I get a little bit nervous. I do this trick that my mom taught me. I imagine the audience in their underwear. You guys look good. You guys look really good. My dad keeps telling me that I need to be less apathetic. I don't really know what apathy means, but I don't really give a shit either. I'm trying to work on my low self-esteem, but I'm fucking sucking at it. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but I really don't think it's going to. Now, everybody says that they don't support Hamas. I don't support Hamas. And I'm thinking, like, have you ever really tried Hamas? Like sun-dried tomato Hamas? It's great appetizer. I just don't think they tried it appropriately. I want to open a store called Chic Filet that sells chicken and designer handbags. Terrible joke. Sorry. When I was driving here, I was behind a car that had a bumper sticker that said autism awareness. And this car was stopped at a green light in the left-hand turn lane with its right blinker on. So I guess they're trying to raise awareness by driving like a fucking retard. And you can't say retarded, man. You can't say retard anymore. I don't know if you guys know that. You can't say it. I just did it, but you can't say it. And I think that's just terrible. It's just another good word that they're taking away from us because it has a nice ring to it. Fucking retard. Like it sounds good. But the thing is, I feel like it's the people who are touting that are ruining it for everybody because they wouldn't know that it's hurting their feelings if you didn't explain it to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's really those people that are making them feel bad, not me. Remove all accountability from me. You fucking retards. I just quit smoking. Yeah. Thank you. And they say that in the first month you're going to be really irritable. I say that anyone who says that is a fucking asshole and needs to keep their goddamn mouth shut. I mind your own business. I think that social media is going to ruin everything. I think it's going to ruin the entire world. Like, the Pope has a Twitter. Infallible tweets. You know what I mean? This is the stupidest thing. Like, when you were in school and they busted out the history books, you'd read it and it was like, Abraham Lincoln penned a courageous epistle and a proclamation of emancipation that sparked the Civil War. And in 100 years, it's going to be like, Senator Dobbs sparked the Second Civil War when he Instagrammed a selfie of him wearing a Confederate flag t-shirt at a Luke Bryant concert. President Haynes posted his reaction on Facebook saying, "Yo, what the senator did was totally not cool, yo. It was super beat what he did, and any dude that attends a Luke Bryant concert is totally gay, bro." Like a steamy-faced emoji. And the LGBT community was outraged at the president's use of the word gay and his dislike for Luke Bryant. And they started a group chat to further the discussion. I was thinking, you ever been to Cleveland Browns, that sports team? Familiar with that team? Yeah. They play football. And I was thinking about, that is the most boring, shitty name. You have, the Jaguars, and the Eagles, and the Falcons, and the Browns. That name sucks. And I'm assuming that it's named after, a person or something, but I'd like to believe that it was, a group of people that met trying to come up with a team name. They're like, well, all the good slurs for Native Americans are taken, all right? And, all the good, cool animals, they're taken. So, what can we, maybe a color, right? Let's do, a color. That'd be cool. The yellows. How about the red? slur, second off, it's taken. How about the blacks? I was like, dude, nah, cool, bro. Like, we already have the Cleveland Indians. You want to name them the blacks? Well, what about the African Americans? Like, that's a little pointed and accurate. Let's not do that either. So they were like, the Browns? Like, anyone else not understand the like the whole Rosa Parks thing? I don't know. Like she was all upset about having to go to the back of the bus. When any grade schooler will tell you, the back of the bus is the shit. That's where all the cool kids sit. You catch air off the speed bumps. I just don't understand what she was upset about. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but there's a lot of unarmed black men being shot. And it leads me to ask, why are they unarmed? You know? Are they leaving their guns at home? Because, all of those people have guns. Am I right? Am I right? That's the most racist thing I said thus far. That's worse than the retard thing. You know what I think would be cool? If there was a thermostat outside. Wouldn't that be great if there was a thermostat outdoors? Because cars are great because you can dictate your temperature control. The only problem is, like, if there was a thermostat outside, I still know that my girlfriend would be jacking it down to like 63. Like, it's freezing. It's just like, it's hot. Well, it's like, I don't know. That was fucking stupid. Fuck that joke. Oh, all right. So I work in retail, right? I work at Bloomingdale's. Plug. And I was talking to this dude that I worked in women's shoes with. He was this Brazilian guy. And he was telling me that when Brazilians come in there, they avoid him like the plague. Like, they don't want to shop with him. And I was like, well, what do you think that is? And I realized that's because they want an American shopping experience. Right? They want to shop with somebody like me, like an American dude. Sweet. They're like, I know the Brazilian thing. I want the American experience. It'd be like if I went to France and I went into like a little boutique and there's like a guy with a beret and like a mustache, and I went up there and he's like, yo, what up? You want like a fucking scarf or something? Yo, of course, I'm eating this shit up. You know, it wouldn't be the same experience. I'd be disappointed. It's funny because I work in retail, I work in women's shoes, I work in men's fashion, and like I do my best, but like I don't really know anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, do I know that I fit perfectly into a 34 protege cut by Adriana Goldschmidt? Yeah. You know, do I know that Hugo Boss Red Label is tapered far too much for my figure? Oh Lord. I have to wear a sharp fit, but then what? When I'm tucking it, I have all this excess material and it's blousing. I'm like, sure. Do I fit into a 42 regular heart shafted mark sport coat? Yes. But put me in a canali, that thing is going to be swimming on me. It's going to be absolutely swimming. There's just so much excess material. It's a more traditional cut, you know what I mean? That's more of like an older man's suit, where I'm from the younger generation. But I kind of like to toe that line, you know what I mean? Throw it back a little bit, but maybe a splash of color. Maybe just a little splash of lavender, maybe a paisley. That's sort of more my thing. That's more my speed. But I don't really know anything. You know what I mean? I don't really know anything about it. Ben, one more time. Yeah?
1 minute.
1 minute. What should I talk about? I fucking hate mosquitoes. They're the fucking worst, aren't they? Here's the thing with mosquitoes. I'll end with this, even though it sucks. Mosquitoes. Everybody can relate to that, right? Mosquitoes, like, I don't care that they're coming to take my blood. I have an excess amount of blood. I donate blood every single year. You should too. It saves lives. It saves lives, people. But it's not that they're taking the blood, it's that they replace it with this itchy, liquid, poison bullshit. It's so unnecessary. They can just take it and eat, and I'd be fine. It's the equivalent of this. This is what it'd be like. It'd be like if I went to a restaurant and the server came to me and he gave me absolutely perfect service and did a great job and brought me my meal, and then he brought me the tip, and then I rubbed the tip in poison ivy and I fucking left. That's what mosquitoes do. And that's all the time I have. Thank you so much.
Comedian up is one of those here tonight. There are 3 of them who are going to be competing in Florida's best comedian, Florida's funniest comedian, right? Florida's funniest comedian. You can see her starting in October at the Improvs. They'll be appearing. And here is Lori Ferreira.
So my name is Lori, and I have a banging body. I was kicked out of my prom for showing too much clavicle. Girls are out. This morning I found out that I'm in fact eating for 2. It's me and my tapeworm. I wasn't always this petite. I was once considered a big sperm and a small testicle. Speaking of my dad's ball, I grew up with an overprotective father. I couldn't stay out late, no boys allowed in my room. I never understood this until I saw the movie Taken. Okay, I get it. Virgins are expensive. Yeah, save that money. I used to be on my school swim team. And I also used to cut myself. And the kids would call me the malnourished manatee. I like to wear a perfume that preserves my scent. It's called formaldehyde. I consider myself to be an intelligent woman. That's why the periodic table is my tramp stamp. So I recently became a full-time girlfriend. For a while I was part-time. Always the night shift. I'm dating a very sexy boy. He looks just like Macaulay Culkin. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he takes it out to cook heroin. We really want to move in together, so we got a lease on a really nice storage unit. The elementary school that I went to was in a bad neighborhood. I did projects in the projects. It's a lot of baking soda. Speaking of crack, I really like to watch documentaries on Netflix because it makes me feel better about wasting time. You know you're gonna die soon when you get arthritis. Because it's like pre-rigor mortis. I'm gonna be really stiff. When I drive people around in my car, I love knowing that I can kill all of them instantly. I'm gonna be a great mom. not going to be able to receive my Pulitzer Prize award in person for all the work I've done on my suicide note. I realized that a lot of older men have a major receded hairline. I don't want to date a guy whose forehead is longer than his dick. I have a father. I think South Florida has a very distinct cuisine. I know a club in Miami that serves really good flocka. It's to die for. The other night, I met a woman with red hair, and her name was Ginger. She had a friend who was blonde, named Ginger Ale. Y'all been to Starlets? I think being bi-curious is kind of like when there's a swimming pool in front of you, and you want to jump in, but it might be too cold. So you just slowly dip your big toe in a vagina. And it's warm. Can't complain. I believe in science, I really do. It's a great thing. I read online that astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson discovered that on the inside, a black hole is always pink. Thank you, my name's Lori.
Also a graduate of the Sick Puppies Comedy Club class, an alumni of mine. So let's have a really good welcome for Aaron Bly.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out. I feel like I should be wearing a puffy shirt and an eye patch right now. When I was in my 20s, I lived with my grandparents, which turns out is not the greatest thing for your sex life. When you're hooking up with a girl and you guys start talking a little dirty, the last thing you want to hear is, "Aaron, come have some lemon squeeze with your pop-pop." That wasn't the first time I lived with my grandparents. I lived with them when I moved to Florida as a kid. And every household item that they owned had the Delta Airlines logo on it. Pillows by Delta, blankets by Delta, even plates and silverware by Delta. For years, I thought that Delta was a home goods brand at Bed Bath & Beyond. Turns out my Nana was kind of a klepto. See, back in the 70s, before airlines started charging for carry-ons and bowel movements, they would give you plates and silverware and blankets to use on the flight. And my Nana, my sweet little Jewish grandma, dressed head to toe in leopard print clothing and statement jewelry, would make that stuff disappear like she was the David Copperfield of Delta Airlines, committing a magical misdemeanor. So every night I would go to sleep, curled up underneath my stolen Delta blanket, thread count sandpaper, Until I couldn't take it anymore. So I grabbed an old Bed Bath & Beyond 20% off coupon, because those things never expire. And I handed it to my dad and begged him to go down to the store and buy me a new Delta blanket. Preferably something that couldn't strip the shine off a hardwood floor. And that's when he finally broke it to me and told me the truth about my klepto-nana. And that's when I learned an important life lesson at a young age. Stealing is okay. But at my age, I can't steal anything yet. And I get into trouble when I shop on Amazon because I get inspired to buy stuff for the person I want to be, not the person I really am. So every single morning when I wake up, I put on my neon green Nike running ensemble, my fancy New Balance running shoes, a Spy Belt fanny pack with a racing bib, cover my nipples with some Band-Aids, put on my Fitbit heart monitor. Yeah, I bought that. And I walked down to the mailbox. Whenever I make purchases, I like to scour the internet for every review I can find. So I was extensively researching condoms the other day. Because I will do that for even the smallest purchase. I had my web browser open, multiple tabs were open with every single type of condom you can imagine. Pop-ups were sprouting up everywhere for boner pills and sex toys and porn. I started frantically clicking to close them in case I dropped dead right at that moment. And now that I had my PhD in prophylactics, I decided to do some field research at the local CVS. So I walked into CVS, I go straight to the condom aisle, I start pulling the boxes off the shelves, laying them out all across the floor, so I could compare and contrast them easily, look at the differences. Picked each one up, started reading the back, the fine print on the back. I started getting weird looks from the guy trying to buy 10 packages of Sudafed to go home and cook some meth. And then I started to wonder, when it comes to condoms, there's all different types. What are they made of? What, are they lubricant? Are they non-lubricated? Do they have non-oxynol 9? Whatever the hell that is. And then I start to wonder, when it comes to condoms, do the same rules that apply to clothing also apply to condoms? When it comes to color and condoms, are certain colors more slimming than others? That would be terrible. Or could I find some horizontal striped condoms that made things look a little bigger down there than they actually are? Trojan horse condoms. They'll make you look fat in all the right places. Trojan horse condoms. Your real penis size will be a surprise. Trojan horse condoms. It might be a lie, but she won't know once you're inside. So, it's great to not be dating anymore. Being single is really hard. I have a great girlfriend. I don't miss being single. It was so hard to, figure out what a girl liked in you and what would impress them. So I would try to show them my impressive book collection, to show them how smart I was, how cultured I was. The only problem was I only had enough smart person books to cover the first 2 shelves. The rest I had to fill with whatever I could find, including a very introspective book called This Book Sucks by Beavis and Butthead. my old 1987 Encyclopedia Britannica, which doesn't even mention the internet and is a worse source than Wikipedia, and the crown jewel of my collection, my childhood copy of Everyone Poops. And I knew it would take exactly 9.7 seconds for her to get through the good stuff on my bookcase before she started to rethink whether or not she should have come over in the first place. And in that moment, I turned into Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark in a race against time to get to her before the giant stone door between her legs shut forever. I knew my dreams of being with her were crushed if I heard the sound and a giant cloud of dust just flew up from underneath her skirt. But it's really great to have a girlfriend and not have to go through any of that anymore. Reminiscing, thinking about my Nana from earlier, it reminds me of the first time I did stand-up, actually. I was there in my suit and tie, my whole family was there, praying for me to do well. The host he had people in tears. I reviewed the jokes about my Nana one last time before I went up there. Rabbi Lipschitz handed me the microphone. I looked out into the crowd and everybody was dressed in black, and my eulogy killed. And to honor my Nana one last time, after laugh crying through the entire thing, I walked up to her casket, looked down, and I draped it in a Delta blanket. Thank you, that's my time.
Our next comedian is also going to be one of Florida's funniest, and she'll be appearing at the Fort Lauderdale Improv. We have a lot in common, I'm nearing Social Security. She's got a driver's license. We have a lot together, but she's really hysterical. Put it together for Hannah Petosa.
Laughter is the best medicine has probably never had AIDS. Alright, so I'm a high school student. I have real problems too. All of my friends have brand new Range Rovers. All I have is a used Range Rover. Not even certified pre-owned. So Spanish is such an easy subject for me. Bonjour. In my opinion, school is much harder than working. But then again, I've never worked a day in my life. When I'm sad and upset, I think of all the people in the world that have Ebola. If I ever want to empathize with a 46-year-old man, I'll just eat Hooters wings inside of a Corvette. So I think the Black Eyed Peas should change their name to 2.5 Black Eyed Peas with 1 Hispanic P. Parents send their kids to private schools to teach them the difference between the rich kids and the rich kids. Speaking of rich people, teenagers in Boca get Louis Vuitton bags for Hanukkah. Don't worry, guys. I'm not like that. I only have the clutch. Passover is an awful holiday. It's a holiday where you celebrate the freeing of the slaves from Egypt. On Passover, Jews address all of the plagues, like like blood, frogs, and the slang of the firstborn. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like those flags are a little outdated. So I modernized them. Diabetes. End of the internet. Dropping your iPhone in the toilet. My mom always seems to know what's wrong with her. She'll be like, I broke my ankle. And I'll be like, no, Mom, you're an alcoholic. It must suck getting older. Someone called my mom a MILF the other day, and she got excited. My best friend recently went to go see a medium. I was super jealous. I used to wear a medium. So 17 is kind of a weird age. I'm still considered to be a kid, but I'm expected to act like an adult. I feel like now it's required of me to swing on a swing set while voting for president. Or buy an ice cream cone with heroin inside. So I try to watch the Ellen DeGeneres show every day when I come home from school. What? It's not like I'm in love with Ellen DeGeneres or anything. I just want to meet her and hang out a little bit. And sit next to her on her show. And be her pen pal. And celebrate the holidays together. And be her pet. And take funny selfies and wings. And be her furniture. Those show tickets are coming any day now. So people usually tell me that I look like a lot like my little brother. And I say thanks, because who doesn't want to look like a 15-year-old boy? So my little brother's name is Sam, and I'm very protective of him. One time, a few years ago, a kid called him fat. And so he was hysterically crying. So what I did is I went right up to that kid. I looked him square in the eyes. I stood on my tippy toes, and I said, "Where do you get the idea to call my fat brother fat?" So I'm applying to college, and it's super stressful. I haven't even been accepted yet. Or even applied yet. So look guys, I'm not that political, but have you seen Obama's hair lately? Man, he could use some Obamacare on that one. So sometimes I wear band shirts even if I don't listen to the band. Someone will be like, "Hey Hannah, what's your favorite Grateful Dead song?" And I'll be like, "Don't Stop Believing is my jam!" Email isn't very popular. I know it's true because the only people that email me are Groupon and Applebee's. The next big thing is Snapchat, but come to think of it, I'm not getting a lot of Snapchats either. Oh, wait no, it's just me. I'm not popular. I always have mama. If I get excited from buying a new calculator, imagine what ecstasy will do to me. So my grandpa's here tonight. He's 70. That's so freaking old. One great thing about being 70 is that no terrorist will kidnap you. No terrorist eats dinner at 4 o'clock. So speaking of my grandpa, he showed me the movie Fatal Attraction when I was 5 years old. That's the thing, that happened. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, it's the psycho love story of a gruesome killer who will do anything to keep her man. Apparently, Grandpa doesn't do Disney. I can only imagine what other movies my grandpa has if Fatal Attraction was the most kid-friendly. The Godfather, snuff films, World War II documentaries, narrated by Hitler. The good thing is, my grandpa would fast forward through the tough parts. Like the scene where the bunny was boiled. I get that the mistreatment of animals is wrong, but I think a little abuse gives them more flavor. When he fast forwarded through these scenes, I would say, "Thanks, Grandpa. You care about me. So much that you didn't want me to miss major plot points, like the gory murder of Glenn Close in the bathtub." I don't think watching the movie affected me that much, but I was always disappointed at the end of Barney and Friends when Barney didn't hang himself. No, I'm kidding, I'm fine. I know that when I have a boyfriend, have a drink of wine occasionally, but not too much, because he also gives me heroin. I relate to my grandpa quite a bit, though. I had hip surgery last year after a track and field injury. I know, right? I was a sprinter. I don't have a degree or anything. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that physical therapy is bullshit. When your doctor doesn't know what's wrong with you, he sends you to an overpriced personal trainer. Okay, sweetie, we're gonna take this rubber band and tie it around your feet. Now walk to me. Does this hurt? Yeah. Okay, sweetie, great. So now we're gonna take this same rubber band, tie it to your waist, now walk to the wall. Does it hurt? Fucking yeah. And that costs $700. Listen, guys, I'm about to give you a really important piece of advice. The most important criteria when selecting a hip specialist is how high he is. It's hard being 15 with hip issues because all of my friends had foot problems, or tendon issues, abortions. They can't relate to me. My walker's missing a tennis ball. So then I went to my hip specialist, and he looks at me and goes, "Are there any specific activities that hurt your hip?" My parents were in the room, and I just felt really uncomfortable because the only activity I wanted to do was with him. So then I had the hip surgery, and I completed my transformation into a Boca Raton resident. I wasn't able to use crutches, so I had to use a walker. Every Wednesday, I played mahjong with my grandma and her country club. I started to act so much like an old person that I stopped random people on the street to show them pictures of my grandkids. That doesn't even make sense, guys. My daughter's 6. I'm kidding, she's only 1. I started to say things like, "I remember the good old days," but it was weird because I'd be referring to like Obama's first term. Look, guys, the point of this story isn't for you to feel bad for me. I'm fine. I had the surgery. I can walk. I got through it. I just want you all to realize how important it is to not exercise. Ever. Even if you want to look thin and pretty. Do you want to have hip surgery? Go on a treadmill. Call me in a week. I also have a hiatal hernia, which is found primarily in women over the age of 50. Who's ready to divorce me? So when I was little, I got my period for the first time. I came home, I told my mom, and she slapped me. I never got my period again after that day. It just stopped. This concerned me. Turns out, I never got my period in the first place. I had a fissure. So adults tend to undermine teenagers a lot. I'm 17, I can handle the word shit. And yeah, that's right, I know where most babies come from. Except for the ghetto. There's no stork in the ghetto. Well, listen guys, the major difference between teenagers and adults is cake. If you don't get that joke, it's because you're old as shit. So I recently lost 26 pounds. Yay! People keep telling me that I look like I'm glowing, which is weird because glowing is usually associated with pregnancy. It's also weird because I'm a virgin. Shh, don't tell my parents. I don't want them thinking I'm lame. Since I've waited so long to have sex, I think I've raised my expectations just a little too high. Do any of you know where I could find a guy with a white stallion and a bottle of champagne? Actually, forget about the champagne. Because I'm not 21, and even in my fantasy, I'm a rule follower. Thanks, Mom. It's weird, no one really talks about the after part. At my high school, talking about everyone's sex life is like brushing your teeth. Oh wait, never mind. Bad analogy. I only brush my teeth when my parents make me. Oh, that's why I'm still a virgin. So, but seriously, guys, can someone please tell me what happens when it's over? Do you hug each other? Fist bump? Maybe you trade insurance information? Lately, a lot of my friends have been going away with their boyfriends. I feel like this is a lot like a married couple, except with probably more Instagram posts. But gender roles are awesome when it comes to relationships. A guy opens the car door for you, he gets to pay for your meals, he tickles your back when you want him to. I mean, I'm all for equal rights, but they make my boyfriend look like an asshole. Yeah, I have a wallet, but do I have to pay for my meals? No. Alright, before I go, guys, one last thing. Have any of you realized that Virgin Mobile sounds like a human trafficking company? Thank you, I'm having
knows too much for her. All right, here we are. It's Friday night, and and we're saving the best for last. Also a contestant in Florida's Funniest Comedian. Let's give it up for Ben Brouckaert.
Hi, everybody. Really excited that it's Friday night, finally done with my week at work, which is cool. I got to wear this outfit to work today, which is nice because casual Friday, you know. You guys familiar? Hey, I was a little worried for a second. But I realized it's like, it's really a scam that some really clever HR people came up with a long time ago to trick you into thinking that you're not doing as much work as you're doing. Like, I get home on Thursday, and I put away my leather shoes, and like, I'm putting on my sneakers like Mr. Rogers, and putting a sweater on, like, all right, the week is over, as if I don't have to go do 8 more hours of soul-crushing work in the office tomorrow. It's like, it's just brutal. I realize I'm being had. I'm just not cut out for the office job life, you know? And I've been trying to think of ways to get out of that, like other jobs that I could do instead, you know? And I thought maybe I'll be an Uber driver. I took an Uber ride for the first time recently. And it was really interesting. I was talking to the driver, and he was a nice guy. It turned out that he worked in a hospital by day, and he was just doing the Uber thing to pay for his med school loans. And then he told me he was 43 years old. I said, holy shit, this guy looks amazing for his age. So I was like, what's your secret to your youthful looks, you know? And he goes, all right, I'll tell you, but nobody believes me. Like, I learned this in the hospital. Every day when I wake up, I put Pepto-Bismol all over my face. I feel like you guys don't think that's as weird as I think it is. Like, he puts Pepto-Bismol all over his face. And I heard him say that, and I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I just met a real-life version of a one weird trick doctors don't want you to know ad from the internet. That's like super exciting to me, because I know that now I'm really close to meeting hot singles in my area. So, but maybe not the Uber thing, okay. I also thought I could become a dating coach. So, for this one, please disregard that I just talked about meeting hot singles in my area. What I'm talking about when it comes to dating. I'll give you an example of a tip, hot tip, for, you know, the guys. Never send dick pics to a person who hasn't seen it in real life. Because, okay, look, like Ethan Hunt might look like he's 6 feet tall in a Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, but Tom Cruise is only 5'4", you know what I mean? Like, if you order a medium pizza and the delivery guy shows up with a small, you're gonna look at that and be like, I got ripped off, what is this? But if you order a small and he shows up with a medium, it's, ooh, bonus, nice, extra. Alright, okay, so this is my last one. This is the idea that I'm really banking on. I think it's gonna get me out of the office. It's a giant, wide-brimmed black hat to wear at funerals. And it's called the sombrero. You guys think I'm gonna be at the office forever, don't you? It's cool. It's cool. I'm just not, I just don't like dealing with that job, you know what I mean? Like, I have to deal with people that I would never normally talk to or socialize with, but like you have to be polite and have conversations with them around the office and stuff. And it's just like, it's hard for me to deal with people coming up to me and saying stuff like, oh, hey Ben, so you got a birthday coming up soon, huh? Like, yeah, I always have a birthday coming up. Everybody always has a birthday coming up. It's just the way of the world, you know? Like, or the guy who's like, oh man, last night I made the best chili. I'll tell you the secret. You know, you put a little hot sauce in there, you put a little cayenne pepper, you put a little molasses, and I'm like, oh, so the secret's the recipe. That's great. That's awesome. Like, or the Office conspiracy theory guy, who's like, you know the moon landing was fake, right? You know, we don't have that technology. Like, if we landed on the moon, the rocket fuel would have instantly melted the cheese that thing's made out of. And like, I don't want to be the guy who is saying like all that stuff is untrue, because I really do believe in. Have a good night. But I do believe in some conspiracy theories. I think some of them hold weight. You know, like I really genuinely believe that the government puts a chemical into the water supply that makes women not want to have sex with me. It's just the explanation possible. But like, my favorite conspiracy theory is the one, have you guys ever heard that if you fold a $20 bill a certain way on the back, it looks like the Twin Towers going down? You know about that one? Like, people really believe that that's true, and it's like, did you even think about the foresight and how many people would have had to have been involved to get that going? Like, people really think that there was like an Illuminati meeting years before it happened, and they're just getting everything ready, and then the head guy's like, all right, so it's all set. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to this meeting? And then just like Weird Jim raises his hand, and he's like, you guys read Mad Magazine? What does this have to do with what we're talking about, Jim? You know how they do that thing where you fold the picture in the back to make it look like another picture? Can we do that with this? What are you talking about, Jim? No, foreshadowing, guys, like in Breaking Bad. And side note, if you guys don't think the Illuminati had Breaking Bad years before we did, then you need to wake up. So just, yeah, you know, I don't know, like on a bill or something. God damn it, Jim. It's brilliant. Get the treasury on the phone, we're gonna mint these things right away. It's insane. So these are the people I have to deal with at work. It's not great, man. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But like, and I also don't want to look like a douchebag at work too, you know? Like, there are people that I'm like, oh boy, but then I don't want to be that guy either, you know what I mean? Like, when I first started at my job, I was like a month in, and I used to work really closely with this woman named Karen. And one day they called a meeting, and they let us know that, oh, okay, the stuff you guys do together is going to be changing, a lot more efficient, it's going to be great. Which is fine, all well and good, except Karen had called out sick that day. So now I have to be the guy when she comes back, the new guy who's been there for a month, who's going to tell Karen, who's been there for a decade, all right, here's how things are going to go now. Don't worry about it. I can answer any questions you have. We're going to do this together. I can train you. It's going to be fine. Like, I felt like the biggest douchebag in the world that I was going to have to tell this lady this. So a couple days go by, and I'm just dreading the moment. And they call another meeting, and I'm like, oh, how are they going to make this worse for me? So they sit us down in the meeting, and they let us know that Karen had died the day before. And my reaction was just, major bullet dodge there. And possibly a good opportunity for me to sell some sombreros. But like, I don't know, but you know, despite all this stuff, all these people are buying, they know that.
I'll buy one.
Thank you. But like, so despite all this, I don't like my job, but at the same time, I do want to do good at it. Like, I don't want to be a guy that comes in and slacks off, you know? So like, I did get a promotion recently. But even if I worked at a gas station, I'm not going to be the guy who's selling beer to the guy who's clearly just 3 kids stacked inside a trench coat, you know what I mean? Like, know your game. So the cool thing about the promotion is that I get to train my replacement. And it's what really hammered home the fact that I'm not cut out for the work that I'm doing during the day. Because I'm training this guy and I'm showing him a spreadsheet that has these formulas and stuff for some stuff we do at work, and the guy just looks at the computer and goes, wow, that is sick. And it took all I had to not just tell him, like, you know, you can use this thing to look at pictures of naked ladies too, right? There's more to it than, like, if that's what you think is, like, sick, then I'm clearly not cut out for this line of work. But then, so the worst part about training the guy is now I have to trade places with him. I have to sit there while he's using the computer so I can teach him how to use these programs. And I don't know if you guys have ever had to like look over somebody's shoulder and watch them use a computer. Even if they're like fairly good at using a computer, if they don't do it the same way you do it, it's like brutal to watch, right? And this guy like he deserves to be in an entry-level position in this place. I don't know, like, so I have to watch this guy use the computer, and it's so brutal. I have to sit there and watch him, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to resize this window, but you can't maximize it, so you're gonna have to click and drag. No, you're gonna have to click and drag. No, click and drag. No, click, drag. You're gonna have to drag. No. When you click, leave your finger down. Don't pick your finger up. Just press it. No, you gotta press it. No, not the X. So I'm watching this guy, and I had an epiphany, and I thought, oh my God, this is how women feel when I'm trying to take their bra off. All right, guys, that's my time. Thank you very much.
Be on stage next, give us a call, let Sick Puppies know, and we'll teach you stand-up, and you can be here next time. Thanks for coming, everybody. Good night.
Support